So normally, the code will go line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, line 6, line 7, line 8, so on and so forth. It will go in order of how it goes. That's generally the way it'll be. However, you can in fact tell a code to do something out of order. Now, how would we do that? We would do that with a function. So normally, and those of you that have already looked down here will know what I'm generally going to wind up doing, because I deleted my code and now I'm just going to retype it. But, if I simply, print a statement that says, hello world, and I hit execute, it'll make a print statement. Of course, I can, once again, doesn't matter how far down I go, if I hit another print statement, and this time I say, good night world. Yeah, whoops. Helps when I actually end the quotes, because, whatever you start, you must finish. Same with the brackets, whatever you start, you must finish. If I hit execute, doesn't matter that there's this much space in between it. It still goes, that's exactly the second thing I need to print. That's the first thing I need to print. It's going to be line 1, line 2. So, now, I can also, simply make a new function of sorts. So, if I were to say, and I put this in the middle here, I say print, this is my third print statement, and I hit execute, it'll put it right in there, even though it's the third one that I made, it comes second in the ordering. So, what I can do is, first off, let me just copy that, so I can, just delete it. So, what I can do is I can simply call upon a function. What is a function? A function is something that will only execute when you specifically tell the code to execute it. So, basically, the code will skip a function. The computer will not read it until you tell it to read it. So first I'm going to def to define my function. And my function is now, I don't know what I want it to be. I'll just name this example function. And of course I have to go with the quotation mark, the parentheses, and then a colon. That's important. You need the colon. If not, you're going to get an error. And now, when I hit enter, you notice how it indented for me. The coding in JDoodle, and honestly most coding programs, will remember to indent for you, and whatever that indentation is will determine what's inside of it. So this guy right here is not inside my definition. Is not inside my example function. Why? Because it's not indented. This line right here, this print function, this third print statement, that is inside my function. It belongs to it because it's been indented right underneath it. So, remember, it's going to wind up looking, when you have multiple things that are inside each other, it's going to probably wind up looking like a sideways triangle, or like an arrow pointing to the right, or a pyramid tilted on its side. However you want to define it, you're going to have this triangle shape. That's what's going to wind up happening. So, now when I execute, you notice it says hello world, and then it skips my function, and then prints good night world. Why did it skip my function? Because I never told the computer to actually go to this function. So, to have it go to my function, I'm going to need to say something like putting the name of my function in. So if I simply type example function, now what'll happen when I hit execute? Now it goes, hello world, good night world, this is my third print statement. Why did it do that? Because it said print hello world, line 1, line 2. Oh, wait, I haven't said to go here yet, so I'm skipping this. Line 5 is blank, 6 is blank, 7 is blank. Oh, my second thing, I'm printing good night world. Line 9, line 10. Oh, line 10 is telling me go to this function. So then it goes back up to 3 and goes, okay, example function, print this. and then it goes, okay, back where I was, and it goes to the end of my code. So in theory, if I made another print statement, and this one said, fourth, and I hit execute, it'll go, hello, good night, this is my third, fourth, because it went 1, skipping this, 2, oh, you told me to go back here, so I'm going to go back here and print that, and then once it's done doing that, it's going to jump right back to the end of this line and go back to where it left off. It will go in order until you tell it otherwise, and then once it's done doing the otherwise, it's going to jump right back to where it left off. So no, you're not going to have a situation of jumping up here and then suddenly having it go and print Goodnight World a second time. Now, there is one thing you have to realize with this, because it'll read lines of code in order still. So, if I put this example function right here and I call it, but I call it, say, before the function has a chance to be read, I'm going to get an error. See, the traceback, it doesn't understand, because my function is not yet defined. So I'm calling it before I've defined it. So anything that is defined, any functions that you're going to be calling, you're going to need to call them before you wind up using them. So you need to define them before you call them. And now, once it's in this right place, it works as intended once again.